Hi, I'm Mr. Miyagi and this is Mr. Miyagi's Workshop. Well, today we're going to finish up that XS650 behind me here. We're going to install the carbs and we're going to get her running and we're going to tune it up. So let's get started. It's time to put the carbs back on, but first let's put the manifolds on. Now, they have some gaskets and stuff for that, but if you don't have any gaskets for putting the manifolds on, what you can do is you can use a little bit of black sealant on there, or just some regular sealant. So you want to kind of make sure that you put it on in a nice little even bead around there. Now, it doesn't have to be super thick. I usually make mine about, around the 1/16 inch thick. And before you put those manifolds on, you want to make sure to slip your carbs back into place. Now, I put, with the manifolds off, you don't have to actually pull that timing chain adjuster, or cam chain adjuster. But it's nice to have these sitting in here out of the way. So first, let's take this and we'll get these started. Now I just run them up till they touch. And I'm going to go do the other side, get that on. You also want to make sure that you've cleaned the surfaces of everything here. Now on these, with that silicone on there, and a little trick is you want to run these up till they're snug. And then let them sit for at least a half an hour, depending on the temperature. And then come back and give them another torque, and that just helps it spread the silicone out inside there. You also want to feel up inside to make sure that you haven't got any silicone squeezing through like that. So what we're going to do now is we're going to let this sit for a while. Okay, let it sit for a little bit. I'm going to do the final torque on these. Now to make this slide together a little bit better, I'm using some little gel here. Help that slide in there. When it's cold like this, those little rubber mounts, they're just a little bit stiff. So let me hook up my gas line before I forget about that. That's all on plate. Let's tighten up manifold clamps. These all kind of lined up here. All right. Tighten up the other side. And we'll hook up the throttle cable. All right, we're going to do a test now on the fuel system, and we'll see if anything is running out, because sometimes what will happen is that there'll be particles that'll come down in the fuel line and they'll hold those floats up, and you want to double check all that beforehand. And it seems to be fine. I don't see it running out anywhere. The air cleaner's on. Okay, we got one that's popping. So you see how that ran out of there. Sometimes tapping on these will help. So we're going to drain some fluid out of this. We're going to drain some gas out of this and see if we can't clear that a little bit. I want to look at this. Yeah, there's a few little particles in there. And that happens. Just want to double check it. Another trick on this is that if you can get them started, you can run them down. You just keep the gas off and run the bowl down. So we'll do another test here. See what we got going on here. You know, sometimes tapping the carburetor, not hard, but just tapping it will help it too. So let's put the other air filter on, tighten it down, turn the key on, pull the choke. Okay, it was popping on the left-hand carburetor there, and so it's telling me, well, plus it's cold, that we need to have this thing dialed in a little bit more. Okay, what we're going to do now is we're going to do a dead cylinder tune. We're going to tune that carburetor over there. What we're going to do is get the idle set on it a little bit. Now you're going to have to raise the idle on the engine just to run on the one carbs. But to do this, you need to make up a little spark plug, just have a clamp on it, and then this will be grounded out. So while you're doing that is that you don't want to short out your electronic ignition like your Pamco or your Hughes hand-built one or the one that comes from Mike's XS. So this is just a good way of doing it. It still has a fire, it won't shorten out and everything. So anyway, let's get this thing started up. Okay, got that one kind of close. Let's see what we got on this side. Now, I don't know if you picked up on that. I was screwing it in and it kind of slowed down a little bit, and I kept screwing it out till I got it up to a certain point where I could hear it. Now these are both set roughly at about 2 1/4 turns out. That's close to what the factory setting should be. So I'm going to put the other spark plug wire back on and we'll see what we got. That's pretty darn close. Now what I'm going to do, because I'm a little bit particular on my bikes, is I'm going to go ahead and double check the balance of the butterflies, because that's just the way I am. Okay, what I've got going here is I've got a set of vacuum gauges. These aren't really expensive. You can buy a set similar to this at Harbor Freight for fairly cheap. They're out there on eBay and such. What you want to try to do is you want to try to balance out these needles so they're both the same. And that's the same process that we were doing by using the little welding rods in there for the butterflies. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to twist this, screw this in or out to make sure that these are balanced out here. This is just a finer tune to get everything equal. So anyway, let's get on to it here and we'll see what happens. Okay. Well, I'd say that was pretty darn good. One of the problems that I found when I took this apart, the little vacuum plug on here had a rip in it. So this carb may have been sucking a little bit of air, but I'm going to double check the dead cylinder tune, and then we'll come back to this. Okay, I just checked the other side. It seemed to be fine. We're going to do this side here. Well, that was pretty darn close there. Well, I hope I explained that good enough for you people. It's really nice if you could have a set of these gauges. What's nice about them that if you have any needle bounce, you can adjust them in. Because I know that there's several people out there going, well, I could just put together a couple of old vacuum gauges that I've got. The problem with that is that they'll tend to bounce that needle, and you trying to get an accurate reading, you can't seem to get it. It'll bounce all over the place. And that's where this style that's actually designed that you can dial them in. You can tighten them up or loosen them up here, and that allows, that kind of variates the vacuum in there so that you can balance the needle a little bit, and then you can get the accuracy of sinking them in. Like I said, you can buy these Mike's XS. You can find them on eBay. This one here is set up if I want to put another set on here that I can do, like a 4-cylinder Honda or the 4-cylinder Yamahas or whatever. I have done those separately just by doing 2 carbs at a time. It's not the best system, but you can. But anyway, yeah, you can buy these all over. And I've had a couple of comments on, well, do you get a deal through Mike's XS because you talk about them a lot? No, I don't. I pay what you guys would pay straightforward through there. There's no deals. All this stuff comes out of my pocket. So just to clarify that right there. And, you know, here's another simple little thing to do a dead cylinder tune, is just the grounding wire, and then you can plug on your spark plug. Now that just saves the electronic ignition from shorting out. And another little tool that you can pick up, I got this, I think, at Napa. It's just a little magnetic turning gauge, and it's 1/4 inch, so you can put in your little 1/4 inch screwdrivers or whatever in there. And it's nice for adjusting those carbs back and forth there. And you can see that I've even marked the line in line with the blade, so I know where I'm at on my turns and such. And then, of course, you have this little angle deal for doing the actual balancing out the carbs. Now, I'm not sure where I got this, but you can find these online. They're just an angle adjustment screwdriver, and I think you can look under the carb section. It's nice for reaching in when you're trying to get in between the carbs and everything. Here again, they run, I've seen them on eBay, I believe, for around 15 to 28 bucks, depending on which one you buy. They really come in handy. This is kind of nice. It's got the little socket on it, and you can change out your tip here, whatever you use. But this is the one I've been using for years, so it's all set up. And of course, you know, your standard screwdrivers, you know, Phillips and your straight common. And one of the major things that you really want to do on these tune-ups, you want to make sure that you get a good seal on your manifolds and where the carbs slide into the manifolds. I did have a little bit of leak on the other side and I tightened that up. One way you can test that, now I just used a little bit of the carb cleaner and I just sprayed right there, and you could hear the engine go up a little bit in RPMs. And then I knew that I had a bit of a leak. Sometimes too they'll cough. Guys have used what is it, WD-40 or whatever, and just to spray around, it'll change the RPMs of the bike. And then you know you got a leak. You can tighten it up, and you're probably good to go then. But here again, you know, back to the adjustment on the butterflies here, using the little needle thing. You can see how close I got. I got darn close with just doing this setup. If you don't have a vacuum gauge setup, this worked just fine doing the little welding rods. You can use anything to do that with. Welding rod, clothes hanger, 2/8" drill bits, just as long as they're the same diameter. You can adjust that down and you can get it to feel. And you're just doing it by feel. So anyway, I hope that helps. Well, this is the eve before 2022. And I'm spending my last bit of the year doing a video for you guys and gals out there. I hope you guys have a good year coming up in 2022. Hope everything goes great for you. Here at the shop, we're gonna do a few things. I think that what I'm gonna end up doing is I may end up doing a trip or two with this bike. I've got some tusk bags that I wanna mount on here for a little bit more storage room, so I can throw my camping gear and such in. So I'm going to probably do a trip with this XS, of course, with dually, the dual sport, and we have the old shovel head that needs to get some miles on it. So I'll probably be doing some cross country on with all these bikes, and I'll be filming them hopefully. So that's what's coming up for 2022. I'm going to try just to do some traveling videos. I also will probably do some in the Delica. We were supposed to go on a snow run. Actually, we were supposed to leave today and meet up and camp up in the mountains, and then meet up with some people tomorrow on New Year's Day to go four-wheeling. But we had our furnace go out in the house, and we're having to stay here to keep the fire going so nothing freezes up. So that's how I'm in my 2021, trying to stay warm. Well, I hope this episode on tuning these old carbs on the XS helped out. If you have any comments or questions or whatever, you can put them in the comment section below, or you can send them my email address at tmiyagi@hotmail.com. So best wishes to all you for 2022. Hope everything goes cool for you. If you've liked this episode, please like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget that ringy-dingy button for the next episode coming up. This is Mr. Miyagi saying be safe out there and hope to see you on the road. Ciao.